How's it going, guys? English Twist, I Take Assist. Thanks for joining me today and for showing me your support. Today I'm going to be doing a review on the OtterBox Impact Series. It's for the Apple iPhone 3G. It's this little beauty right here. This was a contribution from OtterBox.com. Feel free to check them out. And obviously, if you're familiar with OtterBox products, they design cases for the iPhone that are more durable, more robust. They're silicone cases, but as you can see, like an example on the back here, they have what's called this core, which is like an anti-shock absorbing finish stroke design. Okay, very simplistic packaging, as you can see that it comes in. It tells you it's a skin that truly protects. That's right there on the front, you can see that. Alright, on the back, if you take a look, it says features durable silicone with impact. Let me just zoom in for you. There you go. With impact absorbing features, provides open access to all functions of the device, and coring on the inside corners add extra strength and protection to the skin. Alright, so without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on into this case. Let me just grab my little Swiss Army out here and slide down there. Alright, there we go. Whip that in there. Alright, let's open this up. Alright, and first impressions. I mean, look at that, I don't even have to put my iPhone in there. It feels like it's already got one in there. I like the feel of this. It's got almost like a grained finish on the edge here. Let me just zoom in real quick on that so you can see. Hopefully the camera will work with me today. Yep, there you go. See, it's got, oh, come on, behave yourself. Alright, as you can see, that grain finish. And then obviously the OtterBox is a smooth finish. It's like the spine here for obviously to increase the shock resistance when or if you drop your phone. And I can definitely feel on these corners with this coring, it's a little thicker. So, and I do like this. This is an interesting design. If you notice there, guys, look, there's no indent, you know, like on your phone where you got the indented home button key. This is actually some straight panel here. It's very thick, right? But without further ado, let's go ahead and pull this out. There's nothing else that comes with the case. There's no screen protectors or anything like that. And I like how it does have the open hole in the back so you can see the Apple logo. But right off the bat, I think that something that they would definitely, OtterBox would probably include in their cases in the future is like, you know how SGP has the little here's got an example right here. Remember, I had the SGP ultra thin case on, and they give you the little circular protection pad to put over your Apple. That's something I reckon OtterBox could probably incorporate in their cases. Definitely would be an added plus if they put that in there. But yep, that's just a little food for thought. So let's flip this over real quick, turn it inside out, and there's that coring that they're talking about. Looks pretty cool, actually. It'll probably look quite decent if they had that on the outside, but we'll give it a little test and we'll see just how well that really does aid in the shock absorption. Let's put this on. It's relatively easy to put on, actually. It's not too tight. You know, some of them are quite tricky. It's quite an easy case to manipulate. Put it on a little bit skew whiff there. Sorry about that, guys. Bit of a burk. Yeah, that's better. There we go. Look, that fits on really quite nicely, actually. I'm pretty impressed with how snug that is. Nice. That definitely feels nice. The grain finish on the silicone, that definitely adds more of like a sturdier grip, you know, as opposed to the smooth finish. Say, you know, if we were to break up the smooth finish of the malware silicone case, that's very, I really like this case, but it's very smooth, so you know it could run the risk of slipping out your hand if you weren't paying attention or didn't have a solid grip on it. So that definitely benefits to the whole control of your phone in the palm of your hand. Definitely a plus there. And the example, I mean, obviously you saw I rushed my case on real quick, but that's probably what you'll do when you get yours. So, you know, right off the bat we'll have a look at how good this camera is. And yeah, you can see right there, guys, that that's pretty good. I got the silicone flipped under. There we go. It's a bit better there. There we go. You can definitely see there, guys, that that's really well cut out on the camera there. And that's a nice circle around the Apple. That's actually pretty even. So, you know, they really do stand by what they market there. That's very snug on your port for the speaker, and definitely for the silence button. It's not the easiest to get to, I've got to admit. It's not the easiest it's not like a wide open face like on that Flexi shell, malware Flexi shell. But at the end of the day, you know, OtterBox is all about durability, protection. You know, they're really heavy on the whole on the robust cases for your phone to protect it. So you know that, alright, it might not be the easiest to flick away. It's not, I'm not talking like it's difficult to do or anything, you know, by any means, but you know, it's a little tricky. You've got to get your fingers right in there to switch it over. But taking a look at the volume buttons, this is nice to seal it. Yeah, as you know, the volume is going to take a bit of a beating up and down all day. You know, generally, if you're listening to music and what have you, that chrome can take a bit of wear and tear. But with this different approach, sorry about that, it's trying to focus on the back there, with it just being over each individual button rather than a long bar, like for example on the in case, like I'm saying here, that you've got the long bar for the volume. Yeah, this is definitely a very unique approach to things, which is nice. I like that. I like a bit of different design. It's always a good thing. And you have the open face panel here rather than just the individual speakers cut out and then your USB port there. They've left it open face, and there's no slack there because of partially over the face to add strength and stability. And like I said, with the flat panel over your home key, that does feel odd. That does actually feel odd. All there is just that little square there to actually press your home button. But I'm pretty sure I could get used to that. And wait, let me just... the home key, look at that there. Sorry, the home key, the power button, look, is actually almost flush on the case. It's definitely there. I apologise for the zoom here, guys. It's trying to focus in on the back there. But yeah, check that out. That's very cool. I'm very fond with this case, guys. You want to check it out, OtterBox.com. As you can see, this is sort of this is their unique design, so it doesn't just cut out here on the face of the phone case for your sensors. Let's check it. Well, I could do a tester out, but we know from the Defender that was well cut out, so this is obviously the same design, so obviously it works effectively, and I think it looks quite cool actually. Let's zoom out here. So I think my general opinion of this case is I'm actually very impressed with this. I think this is a very cool little case. This is definitely I don't want to put my name to it or anything, but I would definitely say for now this is one of my front runners as far as a silicone case goes. It's unique, it's durable. Let's do a couple of more tests here. Let's give it the English twist thunder test. Nice, you hear that? That's definite. It's a deeper thud because obviously it's being absorbed by the silicone. So yeah, I'm pretty satisfied with that. And obviously, you know, because it's got the thick padding on the front there, that, you know, I always say you need your head tested if you put your phone down like that, but I'd be pretty confident that that's well protected there. So, you know, it's well cut out, well designed. It's a nicely thought out design. It may be durable, but it's definitely not cumbersome. So, you know, they've slimlined the case, and it's definitely effective. So, but you know what, guys, let's just do one last thing before I go. You know, I like to just not dwell on it because obviously this is a 3G case, but just for you original iPhoners out there, let's just throw it in just for your sake and check it out. It fits. Okay, it fits, guys. I mean, it's not perfectly cut. As you can see there, the sound is a little raised, and obviously because the headphone jack is cut for the 3G, it's slightly smaller, but it does still open there. And you obviously got your Apple symbol just slightly off, and your camera is it's not as well cut out there. But you know what, at the end of the day, guys, if you're really that hyped about this case, it does work for the iPhone original. It's not as perfectly precision in its cutting obviously as it is on the 3G, but at the end of the day, it's a great case. So check their site out. It's OtterBox.com. So I hope you've liked this review, guys. Remember to rate, comment and subscribe. And let me just throw this on real quick. One thing I did notice when I actually had it on, actually, just to not be a negative before I go, it is slightly loose on the edges here, so you may, you know, in your pocket it may catch and bring a bit of lint in there, a bit of dust, so you want to be careful with that. So that may be something that they'll improve on, maybe sturdy up that silicone on the edge there, because it is relatively thin in comparison to this thick, so I can't even peel that over. I've really got to put my hands in there to get that fixed. So You know, that's my view on this case, guys. I think it's a brilliant little design, and I think OtterBox have done a really good job with this case. I'm very satisfied with that. Thank you very much to OtterBox for your contribution, and thank you very much, guys, for watching. Alright, you know what time it is. It's time to rock out. This is English Twist, signing out.